Hi everyone, I'm Matt Jemmett, and today on Played in Canada, I'm showcasing the Big Treble in Little China from Bishop Pedals from Toronto, Ontario. Bishop Pedals has been making pedals since 2015, and they have a number of effects in their lineup. I've always been curious about treble boosters, so when I saw the print screening on this, I just had to have it. Unfortunately, Treble Booster is not the greatest name for this effect. Everyone thinks it's going to become some sort of shrill mess. That is not the case. Treble Boosters are a boost pedal, which are very important for anybody's rig, especially live gigging. But they were also used by a number of real famous musicians like Tony Iommi, Ritchie Blackmore, Brian May, just to name a few. And it was all to help boost and color the sound of their amp and their guitar all at the same time. It is not a transparent boost. Keep that in mind. Treble boosters aren't often fully clean either. That means that it will make your guitar sound different and it will push a tube amp into further overdrive tones. Treble boosters are simple circuits, and often they just have one knob, and yet they can do so much for your sound. For the Big Treble, it has one volume knob, and that's how much you're boosting your guitar's volume going into the amp. For some amps, you might get just a straight clean... Oh, son of a f***. For the Big Treble, it has one volume knob, and that's how much you're boosting your guitar's volume going into the amp. For some amps, you might get just a straight clean boost out of it, but for mine, it pushed mine into a little bit of grit right off the bat. The Big Treble also has a switch. Flipped up, it's in the traditional treble booster setting. Down, it's in a bit of a fuller sound setting. The Big Treble, and any treble booster for that matter, will react with every guitar and amp differently, but it's so versatile with how it can be used. With the effect as part of my setup, instead of having 3 gain sounds, I have 9, because it uses my amp's natural volume and sounds and pushes them into territories that I never thought possible. So for this video, there's going to be a lot of switching. Switching of the pedal, switching of the amp's foot switch, as well as all the modes on the pedal. So there's going to be a lot of movement. And so I'm going to try and keep a lot of that in the video so you can see it happen. So it's a little easier to follow. Okay? With that said, let's get to it. Here's a few extra chords of the first gain stage with the added treble booster, the flip of the switch. Instead of getting 3 sounds or 3 gain stages out of this amp, I can get 9 with this treble booster, and they all sound different. This would be the settings used by many of the classic rock guitarists we know and love. The gain is all the way up, you have a wonderful overdrive sound already, and you sweeten it just a little more with the treble booster to get that sound to stand out a bit on its own. The Big Treble in Little China helps give you gain stage options, and ones that sound different from other ones. That's what I really like about this. This is the kind of pedal that ends up on your rig, so that you can go and sound differently in different mixes while you're playing live with a band. This Traynor amp sounds fantastic on its own, on its first and second gain stage on the drive channel. But then you throw the treble booster into the mix and it helps shape and push the tone into distortion territory. Does this sound thin and shrill to you? The name Treble Booster doesn't mean that it can't help things sound heavy or dark. Just ask Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath. He pushed his Laney amps with a treble booster to get his iconic sound. And everyone is glad that he did. The Big Treble in Little China has so much volume on tap. I hardly ever touch the knob on this. It usually stays at about 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock for me, and that's it. This might even be the kind of pedal that you put on and leave on, depending on what you're playing and how you're playing it. Well, folks, that was the Big Treble in Little China from Bishop Pedals, made in Canada, played in Canada. Props for the wordplay and that it's a nod to one of my favorite movies of all time. If you liked today's video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. To see future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified when I'm showcasing another piece of Canadian gear. You can also find me sharing behind the scenes things on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at Played in Canada. But for now, thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Matt Jebbett, and this has been Played in Canada.